there's one funnel that consistently outperforms the rest when it comes to selling high ticket offers. In fact, I built it recently for a client and it's averaging $6,500 in daily revenue this month. And in this video, I'm going to walk through it all so that you can copy the playbook for your business. Let's get into it. So if you look at the map of this funnel, it's extremely simple. The traffic sources can be either organic or ads. It works great for both. The client I mentioned is getting all of his traffic from YouTube, but we're going to go through a real example right now and set it all up. And this client that we're setting it up for is going to be running Facebook ads as well as Reddit ads, which is kind of unique. But for his market, there's a big Reddit community and Reddit ads are very, very, very cheap compared to Facebook ads. So the verdict's still out on how well they'll work, but that is one traffic source we're going to test for this particular funnel. So this funnel is very similar to your typical VSL funnel that guys like Sam Evans used to teach 5-6 years ago, where you'd have an opt-in page, you'd go to a video page, you'd go to a calendar, and on that calendar, you'd have application questions, and then you'd go to a thank you page. And that was it. Right? Very, very simple. But now in 2025, there's a few changes that we're seeing work a lot better. And this funnel is also the funnel that I personally use for my business at Funnel Architecture. So the first step is a video page, and we're going to literally go through all of the copy, how to set this up, all of that. On that page, there's a survey. So technically these are one page. Sometimes you can separate them, but recently, we've just been adding them on that video page. And then that survey either qualifies people and sends them to the calendar or disqualifies them and sends them to a thank you page and just says, hey, thanks, it's not a great fit. If they are qualified and if they book, they then go to a thank you page with some very key information that we'll get into to get them to show up to the call. As far as automations, I'll walk through a little bit more in depth later in the video, but the main automation here is that people are qualified from the survey, but do not book. QFNB is what we call it inside of the automation. And that survey will then trigger, if they do not book, emails that get them to book. So for instance, in my funnel, if you go and you fill out my form, but you do not book a call, you'll get an email within about 30 minutes. And it's like, hey, is everything okay? I saw you made it to the booking page, but you didn't grab a time. If there's no times that work for you, feel free to reach out here and we'll find a time, right? And I'll get people responding to that email. And then my EA will go and he'll respond to them. He'll find some times that work for me and he'll respond to the person and get them scheduled. And I get clients that way that would have just been completely lost. So that automation is very, very valuable. And the other one, this one I do not personally have, is some sort of automation where it notifies setters on your team that dial those leads and put them on the calendar. I'm blessed on Architecture to not really need to add this automation in. I don't want to have a setter on the team. And we're, always constrained by how many clients we can actually take on. Like at the time of recording this, we cannot take on any more clients. So that's why we don't need to have a setter inside of this funnel. But this is the basic rundown. Now, let's actually go inside of high level and build it. And I'll give you a template down below this video that just has placeholders in it that you can add into your account to get a lot of the default stuff in this built for you so you don't have to build it from scratch. So you can create a funnel on high level and then you'll start building out these steps. So again, the first page here is the video page. And I actually already started building this. I recorded this video once and my camera died. So we're going to just get a little bit of a head start here. You'd add in a headline. So in this case, we said, discover how we can guarantee you 12K in new MRR in 12 weeks or your money back. Now, if I back up, this particular client is a kind of service/consulting company for managed service provider companies or MSPs. MSPs are basically fractional IT companies that help local businesses. Their whole business is built on monthly recurring revenue, right? They go to the chiropractor, they manage all their IT for $5K a month or whatever it is, and that's their whole business. Now, the owner of MSP Fuel, which is this client, he had an MSP that he sold for I don't know how much, but millions and millions of dollars. And now he helps clients both systemize their operations so they can scale, but their front end offer that they're testing is they'll guarantee 12K in new MRR in 12 weeks or the client doesn't pay. It's a really, really good offer. And that makes making these funnels 10 times easier, right? The client that I mentioned that's doing $6,500 a day right now, his offer is great and he has a really big audience on YouTube. So when you combine those two things together with a great funnel, that's what really allows you to just have these massive results, right? So in this case, our headline is extremely simple. You could probably simplify this even further and we'll probably eventually test this. I'm basing this off of another winning example. So that's why I kind of worded it the way I did. But we could even just say, we'll guarantee you 12K in new MRR in 12 weeks or your money back. But in this case, we're going to keep it as discover how we can guarantee you 12K new MRR in 12 weeks. Okay, the subheadline here is without ads, trade shows, or any new employees. And the reason we're adding in this without statement is a lot of people, like he has clients who have spent $700,000 or whatever in the last decade on marketing, right? Which is like they've run ads, they've hired people, they've gone to trade shows, etc. And they're like, there's no return for it, right? And the method that he's walking people through in these 12 weeks to gain 12K in new MRR is none of those things, right? So by calling the things out that they've probably tried, we're going to create some curiosity. It's like, okay, well, what is this then, right? Up here at the top, I'm saying MSP owners only. I'll probably move this because I don't love exactly where it's at, but for now, we'll leave it. Underneath here, we have, you can see custom HTML/JavaScript. This is an HTML embed of a video. Okay. Now, the reason we use this, because inside of high level, you can also come in here and just use this video feature right here. And then you can do, whatever video feature you want, right? YouTube, Vimeo, Wistia, etc. The reason we use custom HTML is typically it loads faster and slow pages hurt conversion. So the faster we can get it to load, the better. This video is hosted on Vitalytics. This is just a placeholder now of my VSL. I host all my videos on Vitalytics because in almost every test I've ran, Vitalytics beats the other hosting platforms. So I would definitely test it. And if you want to test it, you might as well use my affiliate link, which is down in the description. Underneath this, we have a CTA. So see if we can guarantee you 12K in new MRR. This button is super, super important. I do see some people, and we used to do this as well, who don't have the button and they just have the application right beneath it. And the thought is, people just scroll down to it. When we've added the button, actually split tested this, we've seen 10 to 20% more conversions or more applications in this case by just adding that button. It just removes that friction. And when you hit this button, the setting down here is set to scroll to element survey. So it just scrolls down. Another thing I want to point out, I see a lot of people, either they have these tiny, tiny buttons that just are not prominent, or they're like these really awkwardly large, the entire length of the page. Like, just imagine this for a second. If I change this button to fill the width, it looks awkward, right? It doesn't look right? And likewise, if it was super small, it wouldn't look right. So if we preview this, you can see everything kind of just starts to fall in line. All the spacing looks good. I was reviewing a funnel yesterday that a client had built, and his headline was like almost up here on the top. It was just crowded, right? We want things to be spaced nicely. You can see there's enough padding underneath the video right here in the button. There's probably quite not enough up here. You can't really tell because the video background's white. What I would probably do if I was actually going to keep this video is at a border, which is what we've done with this VSL on my site. We've custom coded a border that also, it matches the style of the buttons and everything right here. So it just kind of adds like a nice, this is the video. It makes it very, very clear where that is. But that's me being a little bit of a nitpicker. So when they land here and they get to the point where they want to see if we can guarantee them 12K new MRR, they hit that button and it anchors them down. So if we do that, now you can see it goes there and just apply now. When I first designed this, I didn't have the apply now, and it was just the survey, which you would think would be enough, right? Because it's just kind of obvious. It asks you a question and you can hit yes. It'll take you to the next step. But you always want to ask the question as you're building these pages, like, what would the lowest common denominator think when they get to this step? Would they be confused? Would they be like, what am I doing? Why is it asking me this question? Is this a quiz? Like, what is this? So by just adding in apply now, you're hopefully show people this is what you need to do, right? Sounds pretty basic, and this is a pretty basic example of it, but always asking that question on each step of the funnel will improve conversions over time. The second thing we're doing here is we add a little bit of social proof underneath. So trusted by 100 MSP owners, some pictures of actual clients right there. And that's just removing fears, uncertainties, and doubts, right? Like, you're making a big claim up here and we'll back it up in the video. We'll show testimonials, but just each step of the way, you kind of want to add in a little bit more social proof whenever you're making a claim or asking people to do things. So that's this page. It's pretty simple. If we look at it on mobile, a great example, two of these things. I've not checked this on mobile yet. And I see this all the time. So depending on where you're getting traffic, we have clients that 96% of their traffic is on mobile. We have clients that, maybe it's more like 50%. But in general, a large chunk of your traffic is on mobile. So if this video is super small and this button is really weirdly spaced, always check mobile first. I actually forget this because I don't actually personally design funnels anymore. I have somebody on my team who's far better than me. Within high level, one nice thing is you can actually change these settings specific for mobile. So when you go in here to margin and padding, you see how this right here is set to mobile. But change that to 20 on each side. It's a lot cleaner. And then on the top and bottom, we'll probably shrink some of that. And then on mobile, we'll probably also increase this font size just to kind of stack a little bit nicer. I don't know, something like that. I probably will tweak with it a little bit more, but for now, we'll leave it like that. If we go back here, the next page is a booking page. And again, I already have some of this done. So the first thing we do on a booking page is a headline, right? You want the copy to speak, again, to the fact that they're pre-qualified if you actually qualify them, right? And this survey actually does qualify or disqualify them. And then tell them to take the next action. So in this case, book your 30-minute discovery call. This says to learn more. Again, I probably should tie this into a benefit to be something like either to see if we can guarantee you 12K in new MRR or to get an action plan. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, let's just change this down to see you 12K in the MRR. Okay. For now, that's good. I'm going to remove this subheadline. I don't think we need it in this case. And then up here on the top, we have this little bar. This is just to kind of show people where they're at and create some sunken cost bias. And we actually typically do this on the application as well, which I'll show you in a second. But it says get approved, check, right? It's like, okay, I'm already halfway done with the process. Pick a time. And this says increase your bottom line. This is for an old funnel. We'll actually change this to get 12K new MRR. Might sound a little bit too much like a promise, but something along those lines, selling the benefit, right? Without insinuating that we can guarantee everyone 12K new MRR, because obviously the client can't do that. This calendar is just a placeholder. We will add a little bit of copy here specific to this offer. And this calendar is built within High Level, which again, like I love High Level because you can just do everything all within the tool and you don't need any other tools. Again, looking at mobile, this is just a little bit too big. It takes up so many lines. So we're going to go ahead and shrink this on mobile to something like that, like a 26. And now it's 4 lines, looks a lot better. This image is also mobile only because you can see it shrinks, right, on mobile. So those are the sorts of things. It's just the responsiveness of the page. It looks a lot better. It does slow down your page speed a little bit because now it's loading 2 images, but responsiveness, in my opinion, is a little bit more important than page speed. I do want to show you, if we go back to the application for a second, what we will add to this. I don't know how to code, but someone on my team will add this. We typically add a progress bar up here. So right here, if I come on here and I click yes, it fills out the progress bar. We'll add that for each question, again, to create some sunken cost bias, which I believe is like the same bias when somebody's at a casino and they're playing blackjack, right? And they're like, well, I'm already down 100, already down 200. I might as well keep playing because I got to make my money back, right? I'm already down this much. And they keep going. We want to do the same thing inside of a survey by showing people how far they are into the process to get them over the edge. That's one thing we do to increase application rate. Another thing we do is just make the questions super easy to answer. So in this case, what's your current level/title? Rather than them having to type it in, we just have these options. What's your next career step? Again, it's just rather than typing it in, we just have the options. It's going to increase the actual completion rate of the application. That's the second thing you can do. The third thing you can do is add the most invasive questions last, right? So the first question here is super easy. Are you currently in a technical role? Yes or no. The first question on this one is, do you run an MSP? Yes or no. It's very, very simple to answer that first question. When you get to the end, that's when it asks things like revenue, name, email, right? And on those questions that are a little bit more invasive, typically we'll add some incentive, right? Or a reasoning as to why we're asking. So if we're asking for email, we might say so that we can send you your action plan, right? Or so that we can send you a calendar invite. If we're asking for revenue, we might say, hey, your information is 100% confidential, or vice versa, right? Email, we might say, we'll never sell, spam, or rent your information, right? We're just trying to remove fears, uncertainties, and doubts, or give reasons why we're asking for something. So that's the booking page. I'm not going to go through the sorry page right now of like people that are DQ'd, because honestly, it's pretty simple. Either you just say, hey, sorry, you're not a great fit. Some of our clients, they'll send them to like a free school community if they have one, or, a different free product if they have one. Or you can just say, hey, sorry, it's not a great fit. The next page is a thank you page. Now, this page is very, very crucial because right now in 2025, one of the hardest metrics to get right, especially with paid ads, is show rate, right? People just aren't showing up to calls. There's been Google Calendar updates that are affecting that. There's a bunch of different factors, but it's hurting the return on ad spend within funnels because show rate is just really, really plummeting. So on the thank you page, there's a few things we can do to increase conversion rate. If this is like the default template, hey, your discovery call's booked, we're looking for, like, no one's going to read this, right? What we want to do is typically we'll say something like your call needs to be confirmed, right? Something that like stops them and makes them realize, oh, if I don't do what this page is, I might miss my call. So the subheadline here is we're looking forward to seeing if we can guarantee you 12K new MRR. Here's the steps you need to take in order to confirm your call. Underneath this, what we would normally do and what we will do in this case is we'll add a video, right, that walks through the process. It's like, hey, thank you so much for booking the call. There's a few things you can do in order for it to be confirmed. Google Calendar recently made an update that if you don't know the sender, it won't add it to your calendar. So go to your email right now, find the calendar invite and hit yes, I know the sender, and yes, to RSVPing for the call, and make sure it pops up on your calendar. That will make sure that you get notified when the time comes around. And then you'll go over a few other important details like the calls on Zoom, the link will be in the calendar, but whatever they need to show up. And then you can also tell them how to show up, right? So please don't show up on your phone. Please show up on a laptop because we're going to be sharing our screen, showing you some different things, right? And then again, just highlighting the benefits and typically showing some testimonials inside the video, again, to just reiterate the points, reiterate the benefits, reiterate the trust, and get them excited to show up. And then after that, there's emails to get them to show up as well. So there's call reminders. You might send them some more testimonials, whatever it may be to get them excited and to keep them reminded that the call is coming up. We'll also typically add on this for the steps. We'll make it a little bit more obvious, not these bullets where we'll put like 1, 2, 3, right? Make it big and bold. And then within the, accepting the calendar invite, we'll put a picture of the calendar invite and what it will look like. So they notice it and they know exactly where to click. Again, we're just trying to remove all of the friction. But the main thing here is highlighting the fact that your call needs to be confirmed, right? So that is basically what happens on the thank you page. Oh, one other thing that you can do on these thank you pages, it's a little bit hard to set up, but now with ChatGPT, if you are a little bit technical, you can probably figure it out. You can add a button that adds it straight to their calendar, right? I haven't personally found a way to do it that I like it, because when it adds it to their calendar, it doesn't automatically add the Zoom link or the Google Meet link, right? So I would rather than go to their email, hit I know the sender and add to their calendar that way. There's probably some technical people that can tie in the Zoom link. I think certain booking tools might be able to do that easier than others. But with our tech stack, I've had a hard time personally doing that. So typically I leave that out. So that's what goes on the thank you page. So the video would be underneath here. And then there'd be a list of all the things that you want them to do. So that's the funnel. The only thing I did not cover inside of this video is creating the actual VSL and scripting that. If you want me to make a video just on that, comment that down below, and I'd be happy to do that. In the meantime, if you want to see someone who's crushing it with this funnel, check out this video that I did on Charlie Morgan and how he's made over 8 figures with this very funnel.